Hello and welcome to this afternoon taste challenge, late afternoon. I have two 40% alcohol, non age stated Canadian whiskeys with both in the United States and with no website listing. So this is Canadian Peak. Introduced in 1961, the bottle definitely did not look like this in 1961, but the company that owns it now got a hold of it and they fancied it up, made a more elegant bottle. Now they're selling it at the premium price point, trying to directly compete with Crown Royal. That's not going to work, but that's where they're positioning it. They have it on the shelves close to Crown Royal, and I guess their selling point is it's as good as Crown Royal but cheaper, that kind of thing. So it comes with a real wooden cap, unlike Crown Royal, which has the plastic twist cap. So it comes with a real, it's tight, a real wooden cap and a cork, actual cork. May not mean anything, but that's what it's got. Okay, here is bad stuff. Okay, Herbie, you say so. Burley Sullivan says, you, cheers back to you. Oh, Burley. Now, this is Canadian Lake, introduced in 1992. And it has the same exact label as Canadian Leaf, introduced in 1962. So 1992 and 1962, same exact label, except one says Lake and one says Leaf. Canadian whiskey with natural flavors. It's got all the typical Canadian stuff on it. Maple leaves, a lion with a crown representing the monarchy, King Charles III, King of England, Wales, Scotland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Jamaica, Gibraltar, the Cayman Islands, and other realms and territories around the world. Okay. Bottled in Maryland at Baltimore, Maryland, Oak Park Distilling. I think it's actually Baltimore County, Maryland, but they'll just say Baltimore. And I bought it at Total Wine and More. It's $15.99, and they say they're out of stock right now. There it is. Kind of gold, amber gold. Canadian Peak. I bought this at Hocus Pocus, which is a liquor store in Prairieville, Louisiana, on United States Highway 61, U.S. Highway 61, northbound. It's a liquor store chain. They actually have three of them. Alexandria, Louisiana, Prairieville, Louisiana, and Lake Charles, Louisiana. So central, southeastern, and southwestern Louisiana. It was a good deal. It was like, for this bottle, it was like about $17. I think it was on sale for like $14.99 though. And then you could buy the handle for like $26, but I didn't want to invest too much in it. But yeah, it was a little cheaper than Crown Royal. Now they also make a similar product with the same shape bottle, and they sell it at Rouse's. It's called Canadian, not Canadian Peak, Canadian. What's the name of that? I never bought it because I figured it was just the same product repackaged for that store. And I'm not saying it's a private label, but I've only ever seen it there. Canadian. Something. I don't know. I'll never remember. Hi, Ron, did you celebrate Mardi Gras? Well, yeah, by mowing their lawn. Now, Canadian Mist, that's a well-known brand that you see all around, and also under the same parent company, the Sazerac company. Oak Park Distilling in Maryland, uh, County Line Distillers is all the Sazerac company. And that one has like a blue label instead of purple. It's not worth mentioning because if you don't live close to Rouse's, you're probably not going to see it. Although, like I said, it could be at other stores. Have you tried the Beatbox drinks? No, I haven't, and I'm not going to because they don't use real sugar. They use artificial sweetener, and I'm not playing around with that stuff. Okay, they're both gold. Amber Gold. Now, we know these are not the same recipe because one says Canadian blended whiskey and the other one says Canadian blended whiskey with natural flavors. And I know the Sazerac company, whatever alias name or subsidiary they're using, County Line Distillers, the Founders Company, well, they wouldn't use Buffalo Trace on these, but Legacy Distilling, Wide World Importers, Oak Park Distilling. They always tell you if they're putting flavoring in it. They'll just straight up say it on the bottle. Whatever product with natural flavors. So if it doesn't say that, I think you're pretty safe to assume it doesn't have the flavoring. Now, Canadian whiskey is allowed to have natural flavoring added, but it's not required. But there's no rule that it has to have it. Certainly no requirement. But it is allowed, and they don't have to put it on the bottle. But Sazerac does put it on the bottle. They just do that courtesy, and I appreciate that. It's like early times. I was saying, oh, they changed early times because now it says whiskey with natural flavors. But it might have always had that. When it was under Brown Forman, it might have had the flavoring. It just they didn't list it because that's not something they do. Because a blended whiskey could have natural flavors. That's never a question. And they don't have to disclose it. So I just think the recipe stayed the same. And then Sazerac said, we're going to do our typical thing, which is disclose that. Now, I could be wrong. They might have changed it. I don't know. I could send them an email or something, but I doubt I will. Maybe when I get to the early times bottle, which I have a big liter bottle over there. I got it for $9. Can you believe it? When I do break it open, I might send them an email or call them on the phone and ask them, did they change it? If they don't want to answer the question, then I'll know they did change it. I bought a bottle of Ballantine's Finest the other day. Disappointed with the butterscotch butter beer flavor it has. Really? KS. I thought Ballantine's Finest is maybe my favorite regular Canadian blended Scotch whiskey. So shows you how flavor goes, right? Some people love something, other people hate it. Kobe's GoPro Adventures, which one do you prefer? Of these two? Well, I have to taste them first, but I'm going to probably pick the Canadian Peak. Costs more, and costs more for a 750 than you can get this one. It's going to cost you more for a 750 of this than a whole 1,750 of that. Yeah, so I think my prediction is I'm going to choose this one. Hello from Ireland, says Paul Mulroney. Do you have a favorite Irish whiskey? So far, well, yes, I suppose Teeling Small Batch is my favorite so far. Teeling Small Batch. But I like all the ones I have. Prefer more sherry scotches. Oh, says KS, just not for me. I get that. To each his own. Ireland and Scotch are masters in whiskey making. So no argument there. You're not going to get an argument from me on that. All right. So Canadian Lake introduced 1992 with the same exact label as Canadian Leaf, which is to me bizarre. And it's been like that for like 10 years, at least 10 years, because back when Sazerac used to show photos of all their products, I wish they hadn't stopped that. And they would have descriptions of each. I was stunned back then. I was like, Canadian Leaf and Canadian Lake, same label, but different, writing, Leaf and Lake. Favorite Belgian liquor or beer? West Lateran 12. All right. Smells like corn. Makes sense because Canadian whiskey is typically mostly corn. Or if you live in Europe, maize, as they say over there, maize. Some rye. Sometimes Canadian whiskey will be a little bit more higher rye than American. And then they might finish it off with some wheat whiskey or some malted barley whiskey, or both. There's no real rule about that. There is no rule about that. The only rule with Canadian whiskey, it has to be made from grain and aged in oak, new or used, doesn't matter, for at least 3 years. Other than that, and they can add flavoring if they want to, natural flavors, not artificial, if they want to. And I think the website, doesn't the government of Canada say they can add caramel coloring? Yeah, caramel coloring. May add it, not required to add. Okay, that's it. That's the only rules. Has to be made in Canada, common sense. Doesn't have to be bottled there. Made in Canada, aged in Canada. Whatever your grain mixture is, that's your call. There's no rule at all about the grain. It could be any kind of grain, as long as it has the aroma and flavors generally associated with Canadian whiskey. So I think this is the Canadian Peak with that strong maize or corn. Does it smell like Crown Royal? Yeah, a little bit. It does a little bit. I think if you could trick somebody, like you could buy this and save $6 every time and pour it, and you tell people, here's some Crown Royal, and they would believe it. Of course, Crown Royal is made from 50 different whiskeys. 50 different whiskeys. True story. This smells like corn, but not sweet corn. Maybe more of a corn meal. So aroma, I don't know. The appearance, they're the same shade of amber gold, so that won't matter. They're both clear. Aroma isn't telling me much. So at this point, who's the winner? Well, at this point, Canadian Leaf is winning. I mean, Canadian Lake. I can't even get that straight. Canadian Lake. And the reason is they look the same, and there's not much difference in aroma. There is a difference, but I can't pinpoint it. And this one is much cheaper per ounce. $15.99 for this huge thing. It's like $17.99 for this 750, 1,750. So you get an extra 1,000 milliliters with this, and you're paying less money. Now you say, yeah, but does it taste good? Well, now here we go with that. Here we go. Because if the taste is no good, then you don't want to save the money. Is this a good flavor? Well, I like vanilla. Tastes like vanilla to me. Tastes like they added vanilla to it. Like literally tastes like they added vanilla, which would be a natural flavor. Vanilla flavoring comes from extract from a bean. Assuming it's natural vanilla flavor. Now you can go to the grocery store and they have artificial vanilla flavor. That would not be allowed. Some people buy that because it's cheaper, and they figure little kids ain't gonna notice if they're making like a birthday cake for like a 6-year-old. Yeah. This has that same vanilla flavor, but with like a yeast bread, a little rye spice, almond or walnut component. This might be the Canadian leaf, actually, because it's got those more flavorful flavors. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's a better product. It just has more of this, like it might have been jacked up with flavor. Medium body for both, mostly dry finish, so that's not going to matter. Okay, I got to take a second run around on these. Yeah, now still getting sweet corn, not so much vanilla anymore, and that could have been coming from oak anyhow. Oak barrels, some rye, and probably malted barley for. I don't know about wheat. I don't think so. I don't think it's wheated. Could be wrong. Malted barley, probably only 5%. So it's probably like 80% corn, 15% rye, and 5% malted barley whiskey. That's totally guessing. I don't know, and I never will know. Yeah, this has got to be the Canadian Peak. It's a little stronger product, not in alcohol level, but like in quality and flavor coordination. This one, yeah, it's evidencing more of that vanilla flavor. I can't say they're using vanilla. I could be way off track. It could be something like cream sherry, which is actually allowed to be used in flavoring whiskey, believe it or not. I don't know. I don't know if they use cream sherry. The U.S. government says they use something called blending sherry. Blending sherry. I don't know if you could even buy that at the store. It's probably some kind of commercial product. You'd have to buy that on the wholesale market, but maybe they sell it. But to me, it tastes like if they use sherry here, they use cream sherry. You know how cream sherry be sweet, 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 and it makes it have like that creamy, almost like Cadbury egg filling type of thing. Sugar cream. I don't know if anybody drinks sherry anymore. Do you ever hear of anybody drinking sherry? You say, yeah, this 85-year-old lady lives around the corner. She's always drinking a glass of sherry in the evening. One every evening. It's kind of like who drinks it now. Cream sherry, cocktail sherry, dry sherry. There's one called sherry made for cooking. You can drink it, but it's called sherry made for cooking from Taylor. Oh yes, I guess most people just cook with it. Now I made some scrambled eggs and sausage one day, and I splashed some of that sherry on there. I think it was the cocktail sherry or dry. Well, it really enhanced those eggs. I'm not kidding about that. It really made the breakfast better, but I'd rather drink it. But no, but I mean, it did. I can't say it did not. And I know marsala, you could drink marsala, but people use it for chicken marsala. No, I mean. Okay, so this is the Canadian Peak, and I am unanimous in that. It is. Now it puts me at 3 wins, no losses. So I'm a little shocked because I thought that these different Sazerac subsidiary brands were going to all taste the same. So I said, oh man, I'm going to get beat up on this one. But I'm 3 wins, 0 losses so far. So I'm thinking, now I'm starting to have a little confidence. Now it might get to where I have overconfidence, which will always lead to a fiasco, but disaster, right? But so far, so good. Now, let's close it out by looking at this aspect. You say, yeah, but I don't have a lot of money at the moment. sitting out there eating crawfish. I could see she's peeling crawfish. I don't, or crayfish if you live in New York, or but boiled crawfish. You say I don't have a lot of money at the moment. I'm a little short this month. Could this be a good substitute if I want to sip on some Canadian? Because I know people that like Canadian whiskey now. I know people that really like it. I'm not saying that in a sarcastic way. I just know people that like it. One man, he died, he passed away, but he used to always want the Canadian blended whiskey. That's what he wanted. Okay. Let me take another sip. Oh, Black Velvet. Yes, that's popular. Well, not too much around where I live, but more into New Orleans. They have a following. Some people will buy the Black Velvet. Yes. Around here, might have a little trouble finding it, honestly. Yes, I suppose it'd be all right, especially if you're mixing it with cola, uh, and hopefully cane sugar cola, which costs more. So that would kind of defeat the purpose of saving the money. But yes, I suppose that would work. Wouldn't work. I wouldn't be ideal. It would be a trade-off. You'd save money, but getting a little less of a grade. You're getting a lower grade product. But to say it's horrible or nasty or it tastes terrible and it's offensive, I couldn't agree with that. I wouldn't be trying to chase it down. I wouldn't be on the search for it. But it's fine by me. I don't take issue with it. So yeah, Canadian Lake, I'll give it about a B, like about an 8.3 out of 10. Could maybe be talked into an 8.5, but I doubt it, but maybe. Canadian Peak. Well, now you're getting into a higher grade. Like I said, this is more like a 9 out of 10. I don't think I'd go lower than that. I'd say 9 out of 10, and that's probably right around where Crown Royal is. Crown Royal might be a little bit higher, but you're going to save a bundle of money versus Crown Royal, and you get a beautiful bottle, real cork, real wooden cap. Yeah, can't take issue with it. Is it succeeding, becoming a big successful product? I seriously doubt it. Are people going to give it a chance? Are your Crown Royal drinkers going to give it a chance? I seriously doubt it. They don't deviate. Crown Royal drinkers are like Michelob Ultra drinkers. They drink that, and that is it. They are not going to deviate. Whether they have the money or not, they might have a lot of money, and they're just not going to. And I guess that goes for any other product, more or less, in the vodka world. Those Tito's people, they're not going to try something else. It will not happen. Your Johnny Walker people are not going to deviate. So, but that doesn't bother me. I just think you could try other things, Wouldn't hurt to try something else. I don't know why I would. I like to explore and try different products, no matter what it is. Even with that sandwich spread, you say, oh no, you're going to mention something so mundane as a jar of sandwich spread. Yeah, I'm going to mention that because there's a real popular brand here. It's made in New Orleans by Riley Foods. It's called Blue Plate. Blue Plate. That's a big brand here. Blue Plate. And don't even mention the fanaticism surrounding the mayonnaise, however you say that. Some people say mayonnaise, which totally wrong way to say it. But they have sandwich spread, Blue Plate, made with paprika and some diced pickles and mayonnaise and other things. It's very good. Can't say it isn't. But a lot of other companies make. McCormick makes a version. I saw that at a local store. The price was outrageous, so I didn't buy it. There's one made by a Mexican company. I wasn't too thrilled with that one. It's kind of pasty. There's some private label like Great Value. Always Save, both very good. Kraft makes one. Kraft does a great job with theirs. It's very nice. Different, a lot different than the Blue Plate. But people have a entrenched ideology about something as mundane as sandwich bread. And it's like, I want to tell these people, you can't buy a different jar of sandwich bread and take a knife or a spoon, whatever you want to use, and spread it on a slice of bread and try it. You can't do that. Is that serious? And I had somebody tell me one time, I don't like Kraft sandwich bread. I said, you've had it? Oh no, I never had it. I just don't like it. They don't like it, but they never had it. That's insanity. Okay, so that's just an example, like something like as trivial as that. So when I heard all this kind of talk from people, I'm like, I can't believe this. Like you would make a big deal out of something like that. So I said, I'm going to buy all the different sandwich spreads I can find. I'm going to try each of them. And they all had their own unique sort of qualities about them. Some were very expensive, and I mean, people spread it on on bread, slices of bread, and then they'll put like chopped chicken, like chicken salad in the middle, maybe some lettuce, and they'll eat it. People eat sandwiches, but to go berserk over that, it's like mayonnaise. Some people, they say, I live in North Carolina, I only use Duke's mayonnaise. Every other mayonnaise is garbage. You tried every other mayonnaise? No, only Duke's. Well, how you know Blue Plate's not good? How you know Heilman's is not good? Or Kraft? Oh no, they do. And it's the same thing with liquor. Canadian whiskey. You could try something else. It wouldn't be a tragedy. You buy some brand, like they'll call this an off brand. Well, it is off the grid. I mean, if you don't like it, just don't buy it again. Big deal. I knew some people that tried Rich and Rare Reserve, just gave it a chance. They never went back to Crown Royal. Never went back to Crown Royal. Why is that? Was Rich and Rare Reserve better than Crown Royal? No, but it was $10 cheaper. $10 cheaper per bottle. Maybe $13 these days. And guess what? I'm right there with them. If I was a regular Canadian whiskey drinker, ain't no way I'm buying Crown Royal and paying $13 extra. Because what am I getting? I don't know. You tell me. I think Rich and Rare Reserve is on point with that. But 99% of people are not going to try it. You might say you're just saying that because their headquarters is in New Orleans and you live 31 miles from the headquarters, 32 miles from the headquarters. I'm not saying it because of that. I'm saying it because I've tasted both and I know what I'm talking about with the flavor. And my friend David would agree. And I think a lot of people would agree that's giving it a chance. Anyway, enough of that. Canadian Lake, now it's not going to rival any, really premium Canadian whiskey, but it'll rival the lower end. And in Louisiana, Black Velvet is pretty low down there. I mean, you can find Black Velvet pretty cheap. I found it once for $7.99, full size bottle, $7.99. But like I said, it's not really that popular anyway. A lot of stores don't even bother selling Black Velvet. This is the truth. They all sell Crown Royal. Obviously, every liquor store in Louisiana sells Crown Royal. They all sell Canadian. They usually sell Canadian Hunter. They usually sell Rich and Rare Reserve, the little higher end one. And they usually sell Canadian Limited. You're pretty much going to always see those brands for Canadian whiskey. Crown Royal, obviously. Rich and Rare Reserve, Canadian Limited, and Canadian Hunter. You're going to see those. Other ones, well, here, there, maybe you might not, probably won't. Okay, Craft Beer Tastic says some people refuse to broaden their horizons by trying something different. Some people, let's try saying most people. Most people, they just will not. Ain't going to happen. All right, well, heard that squeal. All right, anyway, and don't even get started on automobiles. You know how fixated people are on automobile brands. Woo! All right, well, see y'all in about 19 minutes when we're going to go into Joker's Wild Wednesday. You can bring anything you want, alcohol, but it's Lent, so we'll give people a break if they want to bring non-alcoholic for Lent. No big deal. I'm not doing that. But yeah, we're gonna bring in I don't know. James P. Madonna said to send him a link. He's got something interesting to try, and I've got a IPA from Sierra Nevada, so it's going to be fun. About 18 minutes. See y'all in a little bit. Bye bye.